Hey, I'm recording. Alright, back for another political test results. Or political test quiz, I should say, sorry. This one is the political compass. Political compass is sort of the competitor to the 8 values test. They're both vying for control. There's also another one that I like, which is the I side with. One which I will show you now, but I'll also show you... No, not now. I'll show you, like, after this, but I'll also show you, like, as far as like the election, when there's a next election coming up, I'll show you it. So, first question. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interest of transnational corporations. So the idea here is they're trying to get at, like, okay, if you think that it should primarily serve humanity and not the transnational corporations, then you're not a capitalist. You don't agree with them. If you think that it should primarily serve the interests of the transnational corporations, then you probably think that humanity's interests and the transnational corporation interest are one and the same. Meaning you probably think that they're the same. What do you mean serve the interests of humanity versus... It's not verse. We have the same interests. Right? Our interests are exactly the same. That's what your argument would be. That's my argument. Like, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. I mean, they're the same interests. We have the same interests. Our interests are the same. We both want as much prosperity as humanly possible, as much money as we possibly can get. Hoard the money. So, no. They're the same. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. No. Again, I'll support my country if I agree with what it's doing, and not if it's not. So, I'd support my country always whether it was right or wrong. No. Disagree. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it is foolish to be proud of it. No. Strongly disagree. You can be proud of your country if you want. Right? Like, no one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I could not disagree with that more. So you don't choose the country of your place of birth. So you also don't choose whether you're born at all, right? So is it foolish to be proud that you're alive? Like, is that foolish? Is it foolish to be thankful that you're alive? No, you should be thankful you're alive. Is it so? In the same logic, then follows just because you don't choose whether you're born or not doesn't mean you can't be thankful that you're alive, right? So just because you don't choose where you're born doesn't mean you can't be thankful of wherever it is that you were born, whichever country it is that you were born in, or that you most identify with. So no one chooses their country that's foolish to be proud of it. Strongly disagree. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. No. No. I don't think the color of my skin makes me superior in any way. I think my culture does, but I think that's a whole different story for a different day, right? I don't think merely because I'm white, right, that I'm a superior human being. No. Because I'm an American, right, of Swedish descent, right? But not because of the color of my skin, just based on the color of my skin. No. So our racism is because no, strongly disagree. Wait, did I answer? Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No. No. The enemy of your enemy isn't not always your friend. The enemy of your enemy could sometimes be your friend, but it could also sometimes not be either. So I'm going to strongly disagree. The military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Sometimes. Now, there are people who would say always. I think sometimes if it's in defense of your own. Well, no, but if it's in defense of your own country, then you're not defying international law if you were attacked first, right? Or if, yeah, but I don't really agree with like international law in terms of like I don't think international law should be a thing. I think it should be just nations have their own laws, and then internationally it's just like, you know, Wild West, because I mean that's dumb. All right, but I mean, sometimes it is. Yeah, sometimes it is. Strongly agree. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. No, there's not. I mean, it's fine. If you honestly can't tell the difference, then you shouldn't be part of the political discussion anyway. So, if there is a worrying fusion now between entertainment and information, no, absolutely not. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. So by class than like race and other. No. No. If you live in America, you should be disagreeing with this statement. You should be disagreeing. There are way, way, way more racists than classists. Way more. Like, I'm not one of them. I tend to be more of a classist. I tend to be like, oh, if you've got money, like how I kind of grew up, or more, then I'll hang out with you. Regardless of, any racial factor. But there are people who just have hate in their heads, man. Hate in their brain. Just absolutely, they ate the hate O's for breakfast every morning. I don't know, man. I just think people are more divided by nationality, way more divided by nationality. Strongly disagree. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Yeah. You have to have a balanced budget. You have to mess with that. You can't just like, oh, we're going to give everybody a job because. It's like, well, you have to do it properly. You have to do it right. You can't just because it sounds good, because it makes you feel good. Like, so. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, live for yourself. Do whatever makes you happy. Right? But, objectively think about, is what makes me happy what's going to work in this given situation? And if it's not, then objectivity takes precedence over happiness. But happiness takes precedence over the community, right? But objectivity and like clear level-headedness takes precedence over happiness. So yeah, because corporations cannot be trusted. Wait, did I even answer that? Yeah, no, I answered that. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. This is a tricky question. So, there's people on both sides of the aisle here that get really angry at either side. Like, really, they get pissed. Because what it comes down to is there's, like, sort of, like, 4 or 5 camps when it comes to climate change. There's, like, 4 or 5 camps. Okay? There's, like, the camp that says, like, yeah, climate change is happening, but it's, like, natural, and we can't do anything to stop it, and we're doomed. That's, like, a bunch of pessimists, if you ask me. They want, like, doomsday scenario, like Maya end of the calendar 2012 like rapture. Like that's what they want. They want Ragnarok. They want Ragnarok immediately. That's what they want. Right? And no. That's pessimistic. We can do something about it. Right? Now, one of the other positions is this not happening or it isn't real. Wrong. It is. It's happening. It's real. Next. Now, the other position is it's real and it's happening, and government is the 100% the answer to solve the problem. Regulate everything until it just becomes like police state, and that's the answer to stop this. Because people require that much policing that's the answer to stop this. Is government everything. I don't agree with that. Some people can make logical arguments for that, and other people just scream out their ass and yell and shout and be like, "Mama, he disagrees with me." Wah. So I feel like you have to argue about, like, discuss it. Don't yell like a madman. Just discuss it. Discuss why you think what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. I think it's happening. I think that it's mostly natural, but there is a man-made component that you can't ignore, right? Right? And I think that stopping a man-made component, or at least dialing back the man-made component to where it's virtually non-existent, would be a good thing, because it would slow the climate change down to a level where we could adapt. You can't eliminate climate change. Maybe we will in 1,000 years. We'll develop some way of controlling our environment where we pump some gas into the atmosphere that makes it hotter, or can take it out to make it colder again. Unlike micron level, like fractions of a fractions of a fraction of a fraction of a fractions of a gas quantity of a quantity of gas or something. So, but I don't think we have that technology now. But so my belief basically is this: that the reason that climate change is as bad as it is, right, is not capitalism, right? It's ignorance, right? That's why it's as bad as it is. It's not capitalism, but ignorance. People who don't want it to be true, right? People who don't want it to be true and refuse to accept the fact that maybe it might be true, right? And, the reasons they refuse to accept it are numerous. Some are religious right-wing nuts and look at the Bible and say the Bible says this, the Bible says that about it, and whatever. I used to go to church back when I was a churchgoer. I'm not a churchgoer anymore. I have the faith of Asatru now. But the idea, and I've read the Bible kind of inside and out, and I didn't see anything referencing climate change. Like maybe the Noah flood thing, maybe like some other stuff, but like the Bible doesn't deal with the subject of climate change. So the Bible is not against or for climate change, because it doesn't really talk about it. It's not a thing, according to the Bible. It's not a thing. So people take that and say, well, that's why it doesn't exist, because the Bible doesn't say anything about it. Well, the Bible isn't the be-all end-all of everything ever, So the Bible is not a scientific document that is to be taken literally, right? It's not. So just because the Bible says 0 about climate change doesn't mean it's not happening, right? Like, sorry. And other people would say, like, well, I have a lot of money in the oil business, and all that, and so I gotta make money doing that. oh yeah, I have a lot of money in the oil business. Yeah, but with all that money, you could spend it on increasing your area of influence to other areas besides oil. You know, like don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, like invest in other things besides oil and do other things besides oil. Like Exxon, for instance. Exxon, okay. I would like to see them do solar. I would like to see them do wind. I'd like to see them do things completely unrelated to power. Exxon Mobil Bar and Grill. Exxon Mobil Ristorante. I would eat there. The Exxon Mobil Courtyard, right? Exxon Mobil, Inn. I would stay there. Any number of things. Exxon Mobil Pet Company, like dog grooming for your pets, and I would do that too. I'm just saying, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? It's not in. If you want to live as selfish as possible, right, that requires you to do stuff that is in your best interest, in your self-interest, which putting all your eggs in one basket is not, right? That's not in your self-interest, because if that one thing you put all your eggs in that one basket, something happens to it, you're gone, you're done, you're cooked, get out of here, goodbye. You'll blow over to the wayside, and some other smart entrepreneur comes along who has his fingers in 15 pies. Excuse me for the British-ism there, but he has his fingers in 15 pies, or whatever it is. He'll be doing a lot better than you at having one egg in one basket. Like, this is my little egg, and it's in one cute little basket. Oh, something happened to that. Ah. It's like, no. Okay, so, no, I don't think this. And the reason I disagree with this statement is because some corporations can be trusted. Some can. Some can't. It just depends on how they're run and who the person is. It's not blanket everybody can't be or everybody can be. I think, that you, as a consumer, like, okay, which companies are environmentally friendly? Okay, I like those. I'll shop at those. Which ones aren't? Okay, I'm going to tell me and everybody and all my friends and everybody else that I know, and they'll tell everybody, don't go here because they're crap. That's honestly what it is. So, excuse me, so yeah. No, I don't think so at all. I think that the consumer will do that themselves. Like, oh, I'm not shopping it with you anymore because you're terrible for the planet, And like, oh, I'll tell all my friends, and all my friends will tell their friends and friends and friends. Like, whoa, okay, whoa, okay. What do you want from me? Well, I want you to be better with okay, like, because at the end of the day, they don't want to lose any business. Alright, from each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. That works on a family basis, on a family, but as a nation, nah. No, not as a nation, because look, the way I view society is this. My definition of society is a collection of individuals which happen to cohabit the same nation. That's my definition of society. A collection of individuals which happen to cohabit the same nation. I'm not obligated to them in any way, shape, or form, and they are not obligated to me in any way, shape, or form. I don't expect them to expect anything from me, and I don't expect anything from them in return. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, they don't exist. And that should be how it is to them too. They should, as far as they're concerned, it should be that as far as they're concerned, I don't exist. Unless I have a personal investment in them in some way, like their friends, their family, their, acquaintances. Anything where I know them, So, no, Strongly disagree. It is a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled and branded consumer product. No. People have been making things consumer products for years. Strongly disagree. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. No, it should be. We should buy and sell land, yeah. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. I don't... I'll read this again. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. You're contributing something. I think at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything at all, sitting on your ass doing literally zero, not like this where that's you're investing in stocks and no, like literally zero. Because like even if you have a stockbroker, right? Like even if you have a stockbroker, right? Like you're helping his company grow, which is helping him pay his bills, right? Okay. And so on and so on. And the change, it just goes on. So you're always helping out somebody unless you're not doing a single thing. Like if I'm sitting here like stone-faced cold like this, not doing anything, just like I'm not helping anybody. I'm not doing anything, right? But the fact that I'm doing this quiz is helping somebody because it's helping people who watch this video understand how it is that I feel about politics, and you know, and they might learn something from it, or they might get a different perspective on things, or they might learn about what is objectivism and who was you know Ayn Rand and who is Yaron Brook and all these other people. So it helps in that way also because they're getting a different. I don't know that I can. I don't know that I... Mom. Anyway, so it yeah. So that's basically what the deal is you're learning from this video. 2. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by no. No. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Hell no. Strongly disagree. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. That's kind of the point of a company. It's kind of the only point of a company. At least an American company. Anyway. So, yeah. The rich are too highly taxed. In New Jersey, they are. In the U.S. as a whole, probably not. But in Jersey, they're leaving because of the taxes. They're saying, look, these taxes are too much. They're too high. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave for Nebraska. I'm going to leave for Idaho. I'm going to leave for Iowa. I'm going to leave for, you know, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on and on. So, in New Jersey, hell yeah. That's why they're leaving. Okay? And when we need them, they create jobs and they contribute a lot. Like, a lot. The rich are too highly taxed. Fuck yes, they are. Hell yeah. In New Jersey and in most of the Northeast, right? Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Yeah, I have money. I have the right to the benefits that come along with that. The total and complete right to the benefits that come along with that. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. No. The public should penalize businesses that mislead them. The public should be, hey, you misleaded me. Go to hell. I'm not shopping with you ever again. right? So no. A genuine free market requires restrictions on a genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predatory multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, actually, I do think this. I think that this is the one thing that I think the government's job, one of the things the government's job should have is to break up monopolies. To basically say, hey, you've become too large of a company, you've ate up too many other companies, whatever business you're in, there has to be competition, right? You can't, a free market capitalism requires that everybody has a chance to compete. Well, whether it's an equal chance, that's up to the market, but they all should have a chance to compete, right? And if you have a monopoly, you don't have competition. You don't have a capitalism at that point. You have corporatism, which is monopolies, buying out smaller little companies to make sure that they can maintain their monopoly status, right? So, no, actually, a genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predatory multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, strongly agree. The freer the market, the freer the people. Yeah, strongly agree. Next page. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. No, I think it should be like based on like religious views. So like if the oh, there we go. I got it to work again. I think it should be based on religious views. I think so. If the woman has a religious objection to getting one, then she should have the right to be like, no, I'm not going to get one, which she does. And if she says, well, I don't have any objections, I want to get one, then you can have the right to get one, right? But also, doctors can be like, okay, I want to get another doctor to like do this because I don't agree with this. That's fine. If there's another doctor on call, if there's not, who can perform one, then you might have to just like suck it up and do it. But you know what I mean. But like if you're against abortions, you probably wouldn't be in that line of work anyway, right? If you were against it, you'd probably be working somewhere else anyway. So it's even irrelevant. So when life is not threatened, should be. No, I strongly disagree with that. All authority should be questioned. Absolutely, every single. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's in the Code of Hammurabi. It's in the Bible also, but in the Code of Hammurabi was where this first appeared, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And I don't think... I don't think the Assyrians were right. So strongly disagree. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. This is the hardest one for me because I'm an art guy. I'm a huge museum guy. I have a degree in art history. And I'm going back in a few years for a degree in nonprofit finance or like nonprofit management or, arts management or whatever. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I mean, no, I think they should prop them up a little. Enough to where some organizations can be like sort of zombified, like half-living zombified things. But I think it should be the best ones should have a chance to stand out. You know. Ah. Taxpayers should not be expected to Actually, no, I strongly agree with that. I think uh, you need a good fundraising staff, and that's one of the jobs I want to do. I graduated with an art history degree, and I have several internship experiences in fundraising. Um, One of them was a specialization in corporate fundraising, and I want to do fundraising or grantsmanship or development. That's the word. Development is what I want to do for a lot of my life. So, commercial basis, yeah, strongly agree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. No, I think they should. I think you should have to go to school at least until a certain thing. I would make that senior year. I would think I would increase it to where you can't drop out of high school. I would make that impossible. I would make everybody have to get a college degree. I mean a GED, a high school diploma. I would make everybody have to get that. But college is not a right. But I think everything up to college is not a right, but like a duty, like a like an obligation to not be like it's an obligation to the nation. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Um, like preferably when marrying, but if you're just gonna have like friends, then like no, I should can hang out with whoever I want. Like I think we all get along just fine. So we get along just fine. So no, it's better. No, I think we all get along fine. I think we're good. I think we get along well. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Nope, strongly disagree. I'm very passionate about that. You never, ever, 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 once, under any circumstance, ever, period, the end, in any situation, ever, no matter what, in the history of the entire world, ever, in the history of this universe, hit your child even once. Ever. Mid-century parenting is gone. It's a relic of the past, and I'm glad. Because that was the dumbest thing the world has ever seen, was fucking mid-century parenting. Get that shit out of here. Alright, it is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Who would disagree with this? Like, yeah, strongly agree. I've kept some secrets from my parents. My parents have kept some secrets from theirs. And their parents kept some secrets from my great-grandparents. And my great-grandparents have kept secrets from my great-great-grandparents. And so on and so on and so on. Absolutely, 100%. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. No, just legalize it. Okay, like you don't even have to tax it or regulate it. Just legalize it, right? The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Well, not it should be a component, but I don't think it should be the prime function because I think that learning things like philosophy and like a history. Well, there are jobs in history also, like learning about a philosophy, or, like an algebra, or things that are like a little more obscure. No, I think it should be to educate them and make them smarter. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. No, I don't have any of those, but I have some disabilities, and I don't have any of those like serious ones that are like, oh, it's gonna be inherited. But like, if society were to determine which is the case, I might get put on a list of like that kind of thing by accident because there's a failure to like understand like the difference between like some of them, and if they had this like list going. So no, no, I think if you tell the kid like this is what you've got, this is how we're gonna deal with it. So you've got like you might get this. Well, Actually, whatever. So strongly disagree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. No, it's to learn how to think for yourself and do whatever the hell you want. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. That is cultural relativism, and I am not a cultural relativist. I am a Western chauvinist, so strongly disagree. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not be expected society's support. Yeah, if you're not contributing to society, you don't get any of the benefits that comes with being part of it, because you're not part of it. You're only part of society if you contribute. When you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. I mean, that works for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. It works for me, but it doesn't work, because for me, if I keep thinking about cheerful things, eventually a solution kind of falls into place. Eventually, I just thought, oh, duh, I can do that, and it solves the problem. But some people have to brood over the situation, So, but for me, I think it works better to think more cheerfully, more optimism. So yeah, you have to be optimistic, 100% of the time. When you're in trouble. Yeah. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. See, from where? From where? Like Mexicans? Yeah, they can be fully integrated. First generations can, right? Right? Like Arabic people, maybe not. Maybe not. Like Chinese people, maybe not. Maybe not. But like Mexicans, sure. Like South Americans, sure. Like other, like Europeans, sure. Like Africans, like okay, if you live in a like black neighborhood, maybe you can assimilate into that culture pretty easily, you know. From where? It doesn't say from where, because from where and what the culture is that the person carries with them is important to how quickly they can adapt. Because ones that are similar to ours, it's easy. Ones that aren't, it's not. But I would say for the most part, like, they do pretty okay for the most part. So I strongly disagree. Maybe you get assimilated into our culture fully when they're like 80 years old or 90 years old. But like, hey, what's good for most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. I mean, for the most part, yeah. Not all the time, but for the most part, yeah. Yeah, strongly agree. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I don't. Yeah, I mean, private is always the better way to go. I think, at least that's what I think. So strongly disagree. Wait, fuck, back. No, sorry, I meant to say strongly agree with that. Whoops. Our civil liberties are excessively being curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Yeah, for counterterrorism measures that don't work. Might add, they don't work. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all arguments and delay progress in a democratic political system. Well, yes, but also no. Yes, it does avoid all the arguments, but it's not an advantage. It's a disadvantage. The arguments are actually an advantage because it through the arguments you can reach some middle ground position. That's usually probably better than one party just saying my hardline position, everything else is illegal. So actually, significant advantage. No, strongly disagree. It's not an advantage; it's a disadvantage. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need be worried. No, Everybody needs to be worried, not just wrongdoers. All people. The death penalty should be an option for most serious crimes. Yeah, strongly agree. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and below to be commanded. No, not necessarily. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. I strongly disagree. Fuck no. Absolutely not. This one makes me really mad. No. Like, look at, like, have they seen some of the art? Oh my. Adolf Gottlieb, Jackson Pollock, James Brooks, Gustav Klimt is an abstract artist. Like, what is it? Barnett Newman, right? Like, Franz Klein, like, all those great abstract expressionists, plus Gustav Klimt, are great. What do you mean no? Are you go to hell? Abstract art is amazing. It's not my favorite art, but it's up there. It's my third favorite art. My first being Hudson River School. Then after Hudson River School would be Baroque, and then after Baroque would be like abstract art. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Punishment could be a form of rehabilitation, but no, I think it should be more about rehabilitation. It is a waste of time to rehabilitate some criminals. Yeah, it is. Some just are lost. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. No, they're all equally important, so strongly disagree. The mothers may have careers. Wait, hold on. Back. Business person and manufacturer are more important than... No, sorry. I think they're all important. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Well, I am a traditionalist, and I grew up in a traditional household, and that's kind of the way things were run, and that's like most of the Northeast is like that, where they grew up in a traditional household. That's like most of the Northeast, So I would say strongly agree only because that's what I know. That's what I grew up with. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. No, they're not. Making peace with establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Not always. The vast majority of the time it's not, but a smidgen of the time it is. But no, I don't think it is. So strongly disagree. I used to think that it is, but it's not. Astrology accurately explains many things. Astrology. Now, you know that I'm an Alcitrue. That's my religion. That's my faith. So I'm not a Hellenist or a Greek pagan. I don't follow the Greek gods or Greek paganism in any way, and so I don't believe in astrology, right? But if I were like a Wiccan, or if I were maybe like a Hellenist, or just like some kind of New Agey whatever, I might believe in the validity of astrology. But I'm not a Hellenist. I don't honor the Greek gods, so I don't believe in astrology like Libra, Cancer, and your birth sign, and I don't really believe in that because again, I'm not a Greek pagan. I'm a Norse pagan. I'm not a Hellenist. I'm an Austrian. An Austrian don't believe in astrology, so strongly disagree. You cannot be moral without being religious. No, I disagree with that. I think you can be moral without being religious. I think that it's not it's like if you're religious, it's not just like if you are a religious person, you have additional sets of morals that non-religious people don't have, right? But that those moralities aren't necessarily superior to the baseline moralities that everybody else has. It's just you're adding extra on top of it. you know, right? It's like if I were to have, for instance, like, you know, a a a cake, and one cake has icing on it, and the other cake has extra icing on it. They both have icing on them, and it's like, I don't know, whatever. It's both chocolate icing, right? But one cake has a little bit of icing, and the other cake has a lot of icing. One's going to taste sweeter, right? It's going to make you feel better inside, and that's what I feel about religion. Is that like religion makes some people feel better about themselves. It also stops some insane, crazy people from doing crazy things, but also it enables some crazy people to do crazy things. But it also provides community that nothing else can provide. And it's a belief that can't be proven or disproven. But you cannot be moral without being religious. No, I strongly disagree. You can be moral without being religious. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Yeah, because social security runs out. It's not infinite. Eventually, it's gonna end. You know, some people are unlucky, naturally unlucky. I mean, as an also true, we we had that's a saying we have, and we believe in that. We believe that some people are naturally, sort of cosmically unlucky. That they just are. So yeah, it's important that my child's school instills religious values. I can do that myself. I don't really need a school to do that, so strongly disagree. Sex outside of marriage is usually immoral. In terms of like if you are married and you're cheating, yes. But if it's before marriage or if it's you're not in a relationship, then no. But if you're in a relationship and you're cheating, then yeah. So I'm gonna strongly agree. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Now, this is a tricky question about like the mind of like how a kid is affected by having two dads or two moms or two dad moms, like half mom, half dad things. It's a question of what the psychological effects are on the kid of growing up in a non-traditional household. What does that do to the kid? How does the kid turn out different if he does at all? So I think psychological studies are warranted, and I think before we know for sure, because I'm pretty sure that it's nothing really bad is gonna happen. What I mean to say is I'm pretty sure that it's nothing, but we need to find that out first, you know. And there was one study that was done like in '06 about this, and it found that like kids in same sex actually have like a little bit like slightly higher IQs and were like a little bit smarter, which I don't know how they found that out, but that's what they said. And if that's the case, like then like everybody should we should all be gay. If we're all gonna be smarter because of it, if we're all gonna make us smarter. I don't know, but that was one thing that people found is that gay people were like smarter and were more intelligent. I was like, all right, whatever. I don't know, but I would say no. I think more studies are warranted. So for now, it should not be, but I think once we've proven that it's okay and if there's nothing like bad about it, then it can be fine. Pornography depicting two consenting adults should be legal. It should be, but it also like you should have a campaign against it, like an ad campaign against it, because like I had an addiction problem to this, and I'm off that now. I'm not but I feel like it. there should be a clear line drawn. But no, I strongly agree. Yeah, it should be illegal. What goes in a private bedroom between two consenting? Yeah, it's no business of the state. No one can naturally feel. No, I think some people can naturally feel that. These days, the openness about sex has gone too far. Yeah, I mean, if you're LGBTQ, great, wonderful. Like, I don't announce to the entire world that I'm straight. Like, that would be weird. That would be like, okay, good for you, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? I don't announce to the whole world that I'm straight. Because, like, at the end of the day, nobody cares. So, like, if you're LG, if you're if you're LGB, like, who cares, right? If you're LGB, who cares? Like, I don't care if you're LGB. No one does. If you're LGB, that's fine. Just live your life as if you're LGB. Like, you don't have to announce to the whole world about it. Announce to the whole world about that. You know, you don't have to announce to the whole world about it. So no. Yeah, it has gone too far. I think, you know, those pride parades and everything else, it's just gotten to be a giant pageant, you know, and it takes away, I think, from the suffering that actual LGBT people went through to get the rights that they have today. I think it actually, like, diminishes what their sufferings were. So we're going to see where we stand. Left, right, replaces an introduction. We've explained the inadequacies of the left, traditional left-right line. Yeah, that's... So economic is left or right, and up or down is authoritarian libertarian. So here we go. Stalin is over here, Hitler is over here, Thatcher is over here, Friedman is over here, and Gandhi is over here. So a wide varying array of people. So this is where I score. Yeah, that's accurate. That's right around where Friedman scores. Slightly below Friedman, though. And slightly to the right of Friedman, which is like, wow, he was pretty far to the wow. But that's where I fall. Economic left-right, 10. Social/libertarian or authoritarian, minus 3.08. Yeah. So that's where I fall. Right there. So you guys can check out this political compass test for yourselves. www.politicalcompass.org. So you can check that out for yourself and get your own test results. So absolutely zuppity bup bup bup. Great. So that's where I stand. This little dot right here. Alright, so we're going to bookmark this. We're going to bookmark this results page. Done. And, okay, bye-bye.